duel. I mean, guys wrestled, real well on that. Shadron's beaten a couple teams in the last few weeks, beat Adams and beat CSU Pueblo. So they lost to Mines pretty good the week before, but we felt like going into that duel that, we should take care of business there. And the guys did. We had a little scare with Donnie at 97s. He got kind of caught up in a kind of a little headlock there, but he did a good job of bailing out of that and then wound up pinning his guy in 40-some seconds or something like that. Cash Anderson wound up, losing at that weight, and but he's just given up so much weight there and kind of got beat up. And so we'll look at trying to get Gabriel Carranza back in the lineup this week. Got him healthy and hopefully ready to go. He wrestled at Mines, and I'll let Coach talk about the Mines Open, but the Shadron duel was a good win for us, and good for our seniors that had senior night and all that, and so it's a good duel to close out at home here. So felt good about that win.
Mines Open was great. It's the opportunity for the guys that haven't been wrestling to to be able to wrestle. I mean, it's something that they kind of are gunning for towards the end of the season and get to see where they're at training-wise, skill-wise, and, a good gauge for us. Just a great developmental tournament. But then also, for someone like Carranza who's been out, it was a great opportunity for him to get some matches before, this week and heading into regionals. So, Carranza looked great, looked really good. Won it, took first. And then we had a couple of the guys in the finals. Ranieri looked great going into the finals, and then lost in the finals. And Benarowitz, same thing, looked great in the finals, and was up by quite a bit. I think 12-0, and then chose down. And it was one of those things where as a coach you say take top or you can go down, but and he really wanted to go down, and it's a learning point for him. I think going down when you're up 12-0, you think you're in control of the match, and if you're not real careful, a guy is looking for his opportunity on top, and I think he just got a little bit complacent, and I think it's as mad as he was after that match, it's something he'll always remember, and I think something that'll make him better. So that's what those tournaments are for. And then we had Kean Apple, who has been just awesome for us this whole season. Obviously as a senior being behind Dawson, and not by much. I mean, he's been a trooper. He's wrestled nationally ranked guys, beat nationally ranked guys, and it was, his last tournament, unless, somebody goes down in the lower weights. But, he wrestled really well, took third. And then Brayson Lewis also placed. So great tournament. Guys got a lot of matches, and it's what we want.
And looking ahead to big matchup tomorrow night with Western Colorado. Already locked up a share of the title. Can win the title outright tomorrow. What can you expect out of them?
Well, my feelings about sharing the RMAC title, and I won't say that on the air here, but we want to win it outright. I mean, that's what we want to do, and that's our goal. And anything less than that for us is a loss for us in a way. I mean, you still share in the RMAC, and you can win, still win in it, I guess. But to share it with two other teams, I think for us is, and going in there and losing is not what we're looking to do tomorrow. I mean, we want to go in there and win the duel, and Western's wrestling tough right now. There's no doubt. They're wrestling better than they were 2 months ago when we wrestled them in November, and is that 3 months ago? Anyway, seems like a while back, but we'll go in there with a good game plan and hope to come out of there with a win, and just like we wrestled them in November. I mean, we're putting out we have 5 freshmen that are wrestling tomorrow night, and those are all starters for us. And so I think that's a pretty neat deal to look at where we're going to be at in the future, and CMU wrestling's in good hands with 5 freshmen in your lineup, and you're wrestling for an RMAC title. So I'm pretty excited about that, and it's going to be a good trip tomorrow, and we feel good about it.
Questions?
Going into a duel where you've already wrestled with the team and you already kind of know what they're capable of this season, does it kind of show you where you need to be at tomorrow, and then going into regionals, just kind of be like, okay, this is where we want the bar to be at for the end of our season?
When you show up in Gunnison and wrestle in that gym, you better be ready to compete, because I've seen Western wrestle #1 team in the country and beat them probably 8-10 years ago when Kearney was ranked number 1 and wound up, I think, maybe placing in the top 2 or won the national tournament, and Western beat them there. And I think my son was actually wrestling on that team at the time. And you show up there, you better be ready to wrestle, and that's what we've told our guys, because it's an environment that you don't see in our gym just because of the size of the gym. I mean, they don't have as many people as we do, but it's an environment that they put 300 or 400 people in there, and it's a pretty crazy environment for sure. And so with our guys, anything can happen. I mean, we just need to be ready to wrestle and be ready to hopefully we don't freshman up in a couple of those weights, because I feel like regionals, no matter what, we're going to wrestle strong at the regional, because for one, it's at our house, and I feel like our guys are going to be ready to wrestle. So but tomorrow night could be a different story, but these guys will be ready. They'll be ready to go. They know what's on the line, and they're going to wrestle well. And we're taking everybody with us. What do we have, a roster of 40? That's what we're taking. We'll have our own crowd.
So you gotta have somebody in the gym, right?
Yep, exactly.
We've talked about kind of your murderer's row in the upper weights, but your young guys really have done a great job of just kind of setting the tone in the lower weights and kind of rolling that momentum, because it's first, you win the first 2 or 3, everybody else is like, well, I'm not going to be the first guy to lose. Mm-hmm. But this freshman group is they're just built a little different, it looks like.
Well, you look at the top and bottom. Our bookends are both freshmen. With Dawson and Gabriel at heavyweight. They're very solid. They're very solid freshmen. And then realistically, right in the middle, you have 3 of them in a row. And they're just both solid with Gallegos at 49s, Holguin at 50 at 65s. And Wheeler at 57s, so all 3 of those guys are solid. They're solid freshmen for sure. Holguin, probably the biggest surprise of the year as being a true freshman, and so, they'll have to go up there and wrestle, but they're solid. There's no doubt. And then you got the guys that fill in there at 41s. I'm not fill in, but the other, our solid guys there at 74, 84, 97s, all 3 seniors. Well, I don't know. Seth's a 4th-year guy, but he's been around and wrestled a lot there. So they're just all solid for sure, and those freshmen are good freshmen for sure. Coach, what do you have, Coach Mendoza?
I think tomorrow's going to be a good duel. It's an important duel. It's an important duel whether it's for the RMAC title or not. It's an important duel. And these guys have been competing well. Super proud of the way we've competed in dual meets. And, we expect to wrestle well tomorrow.
Not to keep harping on it, but you mentioned the freshmen that we keep talking about and everything else, but there's a lot of seniors too. You mentioned Keen, right, with the juxtaposition there with Dawson. But what is the room like with the senior leadership that you guys do have? How has that kind of affected your guys' success?
They're great leaders. We're not a huge team captain type team. I think that the leaders rise to the occasion, and these guys have. And you've got young guys. Dawson is a great leader because he works so hard in the room, and it just kind of happens naturally, and that's kind of what we believe at this time in the program and how we run that. But you've got Seth and Donnie's a great leader. You've got Nolan that's a great leader, and not any of them are real vocal. They're just not a vocal leadership bunch. They're just work hard and young guys follow. They want to be wrestling where these guys are at in 2 or 3 years, and so they just kind of follow suit and work hard, and that's just kind of how our role is right now in the room, and they just show by example more than anything. Probably one of our biggest vocal leaders is Eric Contreras, but he struggles a little bit on the mat, but he's a great leader in the room. He works, he's vocal, and he lightens it up as well, but Eric, we feel like Eric's going to come on here towards the end of the year. He's worked that hard and he deserves it.
All right, question of the week.
With yesterday being Valentine's Day, who is your celebrity crush?
Was yesterday Valentine's Day?
Yes, Coach. So when we were a kid or now?
Either.
Well, when I was younger, it had to be Marsha Brady. But today's world would be, Cindy Crawford? Julia Roberts? Coach, who do you have?
I don't have one, honestly. Don't. It's been many years. Been married too long, I guess. I
No,
don't know.
that's no excuse. You've